So today's topic is like we can cover up the Cosmos SDK. Like we would try to create the entire blockchain, right? And entire blockchain based on Cosmos SDK and some kind of a normal DeFi functionality. Like we can able to create a pool and able to take some of the amount on our created pool, right? So these kind of stuff we can do in my coming video. So yeah, let's move to the computer screen. Start our video. So I have discussed that today we are going with the Cosmos SDK and try to build the entire blockchain. And on a newly built blockchain, we can add some DeFi functionality like create the DEX inside the chain and create some of the pools over there and try to stake some of the amount, right? So let's start. As you can just see my blog, I am also written my blog, so it will help you to go through the some sort of things that how we can have to implement the things, right? That what kind of a command that we have to use, so this can help you. So as already I discussed that for building the blockchain, we need a lot of core things that we have to have a knowledge of those, right? So just to take example of like P2P networking, like peer-to-peer synchronization process for developing the entire blockchain, right? And also some relevant knowledge of a different programming languages that we take an example for Rust, right? It's because Cosmos SDK is totally based on a Rust and Wasm, right? Wasm is a web assembly. We can also discuss on the specific Wasm in kind of newly coming videos, right? So if you can just check it out, the Cosmos SDK, right? So I have this. So let's introduction. What is Cosmos? So you can see, so Cosmos is providing the entire functionality of the blockchain that is help to build a new blockchain. Means you don't have to build the entire core of the blockchain. You don't have to build the P2P surveys. You don't have to build the consensus. You don't have to build the synchronization process or database, right? It means Cosmos SDK provide you all those things, right? So suppose you have an idea to build a blockchain, so you just can use a Cosmos SDK and build your entire basic specific use case of a blockchain, or you can also build the public blockchains private as well, but something that you have to be make a changes in the consensus as well for making the public or private, right? So these kind of functionalities provided by the Cosmos, right? So if suppose you can use the Cosmos, so you don't have to build a core part, right? You directly use some of the sort of the command and build the entire blockchain. So you can just go through with the documentation about the more about the Cosmos, that what kind of stuff they are doing, right? So let's start and come on the point that how we can implement those things on our system. So Cosmos is providing the one means one kind of a tool for developing those things. It's called Ignite CLI, right? So before going forward, first of all you have to install those CLI, like, and before installing the Ignite CLI, you have to install a couple of things that you can able to see on my screen. First of all, you need to install Docker engine. So why I'm using, suppose you can try multiple blockchain kind of a thing, right? So you can just use the Docker over there for configuration the specific use case based blockchain or different another blockchain, right? And you need a Go. So why Go? Because some part of the Cosmos is based on Go that we can able to execute on our shell, right? Node.js, we all know that suppose if we'd like to make a communication with the blockchain, we need some sort of a client, the client based in Node.js or TypeScript or anywhere, right? So that's why we have to install the Node.js and Rust. So Rust is the thing that we have to use mostly for writing the smart contract, writing the logics on the blockchain, right? Or for developing the DeFi application, any kind of a different application based on the blockchain. So we need a Rust over there as a core language, right? So here we need a Rust for compiling the entire things. So that's why you need to install these four things, right? So once you install and go good, so we can directly move to our second step. That first of all we need to go and install this Ignite CLI, right? So Ignite CLI, I already told you that is a tool provided by the Cosmos and Tendermint developers for installing and simplify the things in the space, right? So you can just go and follow the instructions, right? They're just a quite simple. If suppose uh, I can go with the let me show you. I have already installed. It will show me some error. I suppose it will take some sort of a time. But yeah, I have already installed. So if I can type ignite, so you can see that yeah, ignite select used for operating and production, right? So you can just go and explore my blog as well, so you can able to install correctly, right? So once you install the ignite CLI, we can directly move to the another step. So one major thing is suppose it will uh, expose some of the errors, so you can just use a sudo, okay, sudo before the curl URL and sudo before the bash profile, right? You can see here like means you have to use a sudo over here and sudo on the front of the profile, so it will solve your error, right? Because there is a something permission error, right? Permission error, so that's why we have to follow this, right? So let's start the blockchain. So let me move to my terminal. Let me clear first and where I am. Okay, I am on. So I'm just moved to desktop CD. I've created the one sort of a folder base, right? So I'm just creating the. I have already created the one blockchain in my past, but let's try with this. So before creating the blockchain, you just decide in which directory you have to store the entire blockchain files that we can help you to push in future, like on a cloud if you would like to push, right? So that's why we have to create the entire directory of the blockchain. So I'm creating the directory. Let me delete this directory, I think. Okay. So, sample chain. Okay, now my directory is empty. So let's create a new directory, and now I'm making Cosmos chain, right? This is my directory. Cosmos chain is my directory where I am storing my entire blockchain files. So if you can check out my next chip, right? So here you can see this is the command after installing the Ignite CLI, means we can use the Ignite for scaffold or new blockchain, right? So here you have to just follow the procedure, right? And let follow ignite. Oh yeah, one more thing. If suppose if you would like to see the ignite command, so you can just type ignite and you can see these command, right? So you can go with the scaffold. Scaffold is just for creating a new blockchain module, messages, query, and more. Means suppose you would like to install anything, right? So you just use to scaffold commands over there. And if you can go nearly second chain, so chain is just for build, initialize, or just for start the chain. This is the command. Generate is just for generating the kind of a source code for the client or APIs and etc etc, like network is just for launching your test network, dev network, or mainnet, this kind of a stuff, that right? Node, as we all know that for setting up the node we need some of the validator, so you can use node over there. Account is a simple thing that suppose I am starting the chain or I am starting the things, that we need some default accounts over there for starting the chain, because we are the only the participant, early participant, which can able to puts our token for validating the things, right? So these kind of things. Relayer is just using the IBC protocol. So I what IBC? IBC inter blockchain communications. So suppose if you would like to communicate with different blockchain, just take example like suppose you are building the Cosmos chain, right? And your idea is to connect with the Ethereum based smart contract, right? Or Ethereum based dexes or pools, right? So you can use a relayer command over here, or need to integrate the IBC protocol in your chain that can able to make a communication with a different blockchain like Ethereum based blockchains, right? Like different than EA protocol like Terra, anything, etc etc, right? So tools are here just for the using the advanced user, like nothing much. Doc is simple. You can use doc command to see entire commands working behavior like version, help, and completion, right? So let's start and build the blockchain. Okay, so here I think blockchain will I think ignite can directly create the directory, so let's delete the so let's ignite. You can type the entire scaffold also, or if you would like to use the flag, so you can just put as well here, right? And for chain, you have to type the chain fully and your cause chain name. This is the chain name, right? Uh, what I missed? Ignite ch. Oh, sorry, I just spell. Tick. So this will scaffold the entire chain, means it's just generating the files for your chain, like making the functionality of a p2p consensus and setting up the database in your local system where you can able to store the entire transaction details, right? So yeah, you can see on my screens now chain is ready, right? So the speed of scaffolding is depends on your computer specification as well, right? What kind of spec you are using, what how much RAM you have, and what kind of a processor you are using, right? So sometime it will take some time also, so don't be scary, just give time, right? So let's move to the next step. We can just move into our chain directory. So as it's already shown that how we have to follow, you can see here like cd cosmos chain, and then if suppose you would like to start your chain, so you can use this command, right? So let's check our chain is working or not. So let's that's it, right? So let's just give some time to initialize the protocols and packages. It's taking a lot of time. You can skip these things, you can just forward my video, right? Because first time if you create your new blockchain, so it will just initialize all the files, right? So you can see here blockchain is running, right? So this is the node Kingdomit node URL, this is the blockchain API URL, token faucet, right? If you can just copy and go into the browser, right? So you can see this is your all the blockchain URLs, right? This is also for the guide query and some sort. If you can go below, you can see some of the post queries, right? For simulate or for making transactions, and these all the modules, right? So this is the basic architecture and basic APIs that have to follow, right? And if you can see here the token faucet, as we all know, for suppose you are creating any chain, we would like you have to provide the faucet as well for transferring some of the tokens. So here is the send request, like you have to like follow, right? So this is the things that is normal, right? You let's move to the next tab. Just close, right? So now your chain is working fine. Let's move to the next step. You can see here, right? uh, now the thing is that now the part is come to how we can enable the functionality on a blockchain, like the DEX functionality, like on Cosmos based. So you can just read this block. I am just following the steps first of all, right? And shorting this video. So let's on the next command. So what this command can be do? This command can install the DAX module and the IBC protocol parallelly, right? As my motive to make the interconnection future with this blockchain, I will shoot and record the video as well, and we can do those things as well, right? So this command can just create the module. So what is the module and where the module is coming from? So this DAX module is stored on Cosmos, right? Cosmos SDK, and we are fetching that DAX module from Cosmos SDK using Ignite tool and integrating with our chain, right? So let's do it. Let's copy paste. Don't waste our time, right? Let's switch this chain. I think right. So you can see scaffolding and fetching the DAX module from the Cosmos repositories or Cosmos hub where it's stored, I don't know, right? With the command, and you can see some of the changes like modify app.go, like is modified the chain Cosmos Genesis file is already modified, right? State also, and some of the new files is created in the DAX. If I can open in code, right? So you can able to see the things like proto DAX. You can see here, right? Here the DAX functionality is enabled, and if you can check query protocol, you can see here some of the configuration files over there, right? So you don't have to edit anything right now. Everything's fine and easy, simple. So you just wait and I will show you so you can do, right? So after initializing functionality of our DAX, we can just move to the uh, pool, because we have to add a pool functionality in our DAX. So we have to move on the next command, that how we have to add the pool in our DAX, because it's a simple DAX. Like you can able to send the a token from one user to another user, right? You can able to swap the token if you have a different tokens on your blockchain, right? But you can't able to stake anything. So for those kind of functionality, we have to enable the things, right? So for enabling those things, we have to use some of the message functionality provided by the Cosmos. Like a message is nothing. Message is just kind of a specific small functionalities based in the module, right? Whatever functionality you need to be integrate in your module, so we can just execute with the message command, right? So here is the next thing. So means we can just able to create and integrate our message. Here is asking, suppose you would like to save your entire work or commit your entire work on GitHub, so you can do. But in my case, I don't want to save right now because just a sample thing. So I'm just processing. Yes, I don't move forward without changes. So I can just put it the way, right? If suppose you would like to go, you can just commit and go to the next step. Yeah, cool. So you can see here we successfully added the pool message in our current DAX, right? So if we can just read, we have created under the module scaffold with our DAXes, right? This is the query result, and this is the success result as well, right? So now the parties come. Suppose I have already I've created the pool. So from where we can put the liquidity, right? So before putting the liquidity, we need to execute or add liquidity functionality in our DEX or pool services, right? So these all services we have to use add manually, right? So if you can read these things, so here I am adding the add liquidity function in our pool, or I can say in my DEX, right? So if you can see, I have scaffold the message add liquidity. Why I'm putting amount coin, because we need to put some of the coin over there, right? And I'm just using the module DEX because why I'm mentioning DEX, because we would like to add this functionality into the DEX module. So that's right. So that's why I'm putting these flags over here, right? So we can just copy paste this command, and Again, it's the same thing. If suppose you would like to save or commit, so you can do. Otherwise, you just put directly, right? So it will take some sort of seconds, 10 15 seconds. Yeah, done. So you can see here, there's a new message created with the add liquidity functions, right? If you can see the changes in the file, and if suppose you would like to follow these files, so yeah, you can just check it on your VS Code as well. If I go with the, this is Genesis file, simulation keeper, message pools go, right? So you can see here the pools updates, like create pool function is added, update pool function is added, delete pool function is added, right? And you can go on transaction service, you can see here, yeah, create pool, update pool, delete pool, and add liquidity is added now, right? So yeah, we are going good, and hope you guys are also doing well. Just follow me, and I will share my blog also, so you can able to follow the process in a simple manner. And in future, and suppose you will stuck somewhere, right, or you have got any problems, so just share with me on YouTube comment or section, or you can just directly connect with me on LinkedIn, right? I will share all the URLs over there, and you can just, we can just have a chit chat also, no issue. I have a time. So okay, so let's add our own account on the chain after creating all this functionality. So let's move to our VS Code and just close all these folders. I think this is not the use of. You can just find the configuration YML, right? Config file you can see here. Here we have some default account. The name is Alice and Bob, right? So the same, I can just do the simple step. I can just copy paste and add one more account, like and just name is Pankaj, right? So I have this much of token, and you can just save this file. And if suppose you would like to add more validators, so you can follow the same steps, right, in future. Or you can also check the faucet configuration. If suppose you would like to add some more faucets account, right, so you can add over here, right? So yeah, it's done. So let's move to the next step. You can check it out, the same things I have did and save. But now the thing is that if suppose you would uh, like to look at changes, right? So you can just chart your chain again. Let's chart our chain again. So you can see, right? It will initializing the again and fetching the new configuration from the config file, like that we have added some of the modules as well, like DAX module we have added. We have added the pool functionality, right? So it will initialize the same thing and storing all those things on your blockchain state and initialize the app again, right? So you can see here on my screen that I have a account added on my config file. So you can see added account Pankaj with the address this and mnemonic key is like, right? So this is the simple things. Let's move to the next step. Suppose uh, one more thing, yeah. So here, as I already mentioned, the Golang is used for compiling the entire blockchain files, right? So you can just read this. So after compiling and after adding a functionality, we need to now make a communication with our binary file, which is created by the Golang, right? So this is not that tricky. This is not that a tough step. Is suppose I have already mentioned here, my chain name is example sample chain, right? But today's in my case, what while creating this video, my chain is, name is Cosmos chain, right? So I just put a D after the chain, after the ending of the chain name, okay, without any space. So it will just give you the access to the binary file, right? So after suppose let me uh, you just check it out here, that what I did. So I have a chain name is a sample chain, right? And I just put the D after completing the name, right? D without any space. So it will just give the access to the binary file. Because why we have to do this? We suppose we need to put, because we suppose we need to put any kind of the pool, means like I would like to add some of the liquidity over the pool, so I just need to make a communication with a binary file, not the entire direct blockchain files, right? Because you are the owner of the blockchain. That particular another not a user, right? If you have some of the friends, you have if you have family, right? If suppose they would like to invest on your chain, so they just need your binary file, or you can just host that binary file over the cloud or anywhere, so where the users can able to access, right? So that's why we can move to now the binary communication. So here after compiling again, so it will create it, go will create a binary file like this, and we can able to execute. So here you can just check it out, that suppose for is the binary file is working fine or not. So let me check. So my is just something like this. I can just put D, and for check you can just put the Cosmos chain D, and you can see all the binary commands, right? So here you can able to see all the available commands of the binary files is Genesis account, collect Genesis transactions, configuration, debug, export, etc, etc. So we would like to make a transaction on a blockchain, so we can just go and type tx. You can see here the tx command. So you can type tx, so you can see the transactions command, like authorization transactions, like bank transactions kind of a things, broadcasting, Cosmos chain transactions sub command, right? Here are the DAX that were what we have added, right? All the command that we have to execute is command the DAX, right? Here is the distribution and code, all these things. Just go with here is the IBC protocol as well that we have added, if you have remember, right, with the DAX command. So let's make use of these things. So after making the things easier, you can just move to the next thing. If suppose you we have to make a transaction in DEX, right? So we can just use DEX over here, and we can able to see the DEX transaction functionality. So you can see here in available command we have the functionality that what we have added, means add liquidity functionality we have added, create pool, delete pool, update pool. This is the all the functionality is based on your chain, that what you have created right now, right? So these all functionality we have added, so we can use and make a transaction, and we can just check it out, right? So let's create a pool. So for creating the pool, I think that you are much aware that how we have to create the pool. We need some specific sort of things, like we need to invest some of the tokens on an initial state for start any pool, means kind of a liquidity we have to provide, right? And the one more thing, that we need a specific account, that from which account we can have to use, right? And the height of that current status of the transaction, or we can say the node, right? So you can just don't take the load of the height, right? The height of the transaction, we can just you just follow these steps. It's just quite simple. So here is the command for creating the pool, and you can see here, right? So the thing is that you have to use your binary file execution here, and then you have to follow this command, right? So I am just copying and paste this thing, and my chain name is Cosmos chain, chain B, and I'm just pasting that, right? So you can see here I have called my binary chain file transaction command, and in transaction I have called the dex command, and in dex command I have called the create pool command. You can see here available commands, right? And in create pool command I have to be fulfill these uh, requirements, that I would like to stake this of amount. This is the height of the transaction, nothing much use of, and this is my account name, that from which I have to be invested, right? So this is my account name, and I hit the enter, right? So you can see, I think that I missed something. Mm, oh, sorry. First of all, I have to start my chain, right? So let open the new window and start the chain. Let open my tab. I have to start my chain before, because we have to we have to initiate the transaction in our own chain only, na. So sorry for that, I just missed out. Let's start. Okay, our chain is started. Right. So you can see here, we successfully able to create a new pool in our chain. So you just check it out here, some of the transactions, right? It's coming. So it's just asking for confirming or broadcasting transaction. You just type y and yes. So it will create the entire pool and send you all the information regarding the transaction. And you can see here your transaction hash, right? It's also stored on your Genesis file state, so it's quite simple. And your pool is created successfully, right? You can see here the message that I have posted. And now the thing is that, suppose you would like to list your command, right? So you have to follow the same thing. So this is the query message now, means we are putting the query over our blockchain, so we have to use the entire query keyword, or we can use a queue over there. So you can see here, right? I have used my, again, that binary file and put the flag like query or queue, and use our dex module and this pool, right? So this is a quite simple that you can able to, oh sorry, cosmos CHAIND, and we have to put a query tags for list pool, right? So you can able to see here all the pool information. This is a creator address like me, and this is for the staking pool, and this is the minimum, this is the amount I have staked right now for starting the pool, right? This is the height and nothing else position, right? Because we don't have the several main transaction, that's why this part is empty, so just ignore it. After creating a pool, suppose I am the user and I would like to provide the more liquidity to the pool, right? So we can use the next command. You have to just follow the same thing, same culture, same command that we have. Just instead of create a pool, we have to use the add liquidity function over here, right? As we know, as we seen in my commands, right? So I have, uh, let's create same for broadcasting or signing transaction. You have to pay some of the fees, so that's why it's asking you to pay some fees for the signing fees, right? So you just put a yes, and here you can see that this is the transaction hash and this is the amount you have staked. If you can just check out the pool state, so you can see here, I think something is missed. Transaction null index message. Okay, so I can figure it out that what the thing is that, so you can see a successful transaction over here. And yeah, this is the functionality that I have shown you. You can also explore these things on your own as well, right? And if I, one thing that I have to mention, suppose I miss something, because I'm also that much perfect in these things. I'm just trying and I'm just doing practical and just try to implement those things on my local, and just try to share those things, right? So suppose I miss something, or suppose I did anything wrong, so just let me know on my channel. I just appreciate those things that uh, I would like to say that I just appreciate, and I just very thankful for those people who can support me, right? So please try to execute these steps on your own, on your local machine, if you are a beginner, right? In the blockchain space, or if you like to use a Cosmos SDK, you can also explore some of the basic commands if you can just go through with the Cosmos documentation, right? So you can find a lots of things over there. You can find a lots of the functionality that you have to be go for the implementation and go for the adding those functionality in your own blockchain, right? You can just also go for the Cosmos based module, that what kind of a module that they have for adding in their blockchain. So that are steps I have shown you. So with the same thing that you can the same thing you can add all these things on your own from making the use of the blockchain, right? So let's close this video. I suppose you have any question, you have any doubt or something else, so you can just post it in the comment. And please support me. I would like to thank you for watching this video also, and please subscribe me, that I have just try to create the things very simple, right? And also give the lot of things to make the development easy to the users and the beginners. So thank you very much. Do subscribe my channel. This is very grateful for me and the appreciation for me from your end. Thank you very much.